by a man that can capture an image like no other. It's only Tyler Shields. How are you doing today, sir?
Very good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm loving the sunshine. I'm loving the artwork in the background. But before we get into all of that, let's talk about how you started. Okay. So I say it was about 2003 when you started doing photography. When did you realise this is what you wanted to do? This was the career for you?
I think I was out doing a shoot with an actor, and I had him jump off a building, and he jumped off of a building like way down to another building, and there was this moment when I was like, oh, he could be dead. And I ran over and he popped his head up and he was just covered in like rocks and dirt. He was like, I'm alive! And I was like, okay, I think I could do this. I think this is, I'm good. I like this.
Because you're quite extraordinary with the stuff that you do. People like jumping off buildings, and you want to set yourself on fire, shooting people. You actually star in some of your own stuff.
Right.
That's quite weird for like an artist to star in their own work. Why did you want to do that?
Sometimes nobody will do it. You know, sometimes something, you know, I'm always around myself, obviously. I always have a camera. So if in the middle of the night I want to storm the Buckingham Palace gates, I can do it, you know, so it's easy. But kind of getting people to do things sometimes is difficult, and having them be there whenever you need them. So I only go in when it's absolutely necessary.
Because I've heard like some of your famous friends are just quite scared sometimes and a bit annoyed with you in the conditions that you have to film. Like, you did a shoot where you're like by the desert, or was it by the sea, and there was like loads of dead fish everywhere and stuff, and the actress fainted. Like, how was that working in that kind of condition? Do they storm off and go, you know what, Tyler, we're done?
No, I mean, I think that when you take them, okay, so we went out to this place called the Salton Sea, and there were 20,000 dead fish all laying there.
Before you got there?
Before we got there. We didn't kill the fish.
Okay.
And no fish were harmed during that shoot from us. But the stench, I don't have a sense of smell, but they were all like dying. And I'm like, oh, it's fine. And it was 135 degrees out. So the dead fish plus the heat.
The smell, it was...
She literally, like, we were walking down the beach, and all of a sudden I turn around and she's face down, unconscious on the ground. And I'm like, ha ha ha. And I run back over and I'm like, oh, she's actually unconscious. She didn't speak to me for 2 weeks after that shoot. And then when she saw the pictures, she loved it. In hindsight, it's always worth it. Like, people might hate the process, but they love the results.
Because that's actually a video. It's like a three-minute video. When did you make that transition from stills to movement?
I started with video.
Okay.
Yeah, so I started out directing music videos and a little bit, and then I started taking pictures. And then that led me, oddly enough, back to video.
Where does your inspiration come from? Because I've read that you don't own a TV or you don't watch television. Is it just like walks of life?
I mean, I have so many crazy friends, and I'm in so many crazy places that you know, I think I could not see anything new for the rest of my life and never run out of some ideas. So.
Where's the craziest place you've been? You're like, oh my god, this would be great for a shoot.
I took an actress and I went to a war zone in Mexico.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
And we didn't know that it was a war zone. She just came and picked me up and said, like, oh, I want to go to Mexico in the middle of the night. And so we got there and the sun came up, and all of a sudden, you know, the rebels, the people who were fighting each other started fighting. And there was guns and people were shooting at each other. We were like, what is going on? We've got to get out of this country. So, but it only costs $42 to bribe your way out of Mexico.
What do you mean?
You only have to pay $42 to get out.
And they're like, okay, you've done damage here, but you can go. Yeah. Kind of like that?
Yeah.
Guys, I need to go to Mexico.
Remember that. Just 42 American dollars and you're good to go.
A lot of your work, you use the theme of blood. Mm-hmm. That you've got a picture with a love heart, giant love heart.
Yeah.
And you use like 20 people's like blood and like smeared it on. Yeah. But some people don't get you. They don't get your work and they don't get what you do. Like, are you offended by that?
Who are these people?
There's some people, you did another shoot actually, there's some people with I think it's like the lady from Glee, Morris, and she was painting on with a black eye, and everyone was like, oh, you're promoting domestic violence. Yeah. How do you feel about that? Because this is your art, this is your work.
So I got 25,000 death threats from that shoot, which I think is amazing. I think if you can take a picture of a girl with a makeup black eye.
Right.
I've taken a picture of a girl with a real black eye, and everyone was fine. But we did makeup on her black eye. It wasn't, it's not like I punched her in the face. But literally, women's rights groups were emailing me saying that they were going to get together, chase me down with baseball bats, and bash my brains in. Which I think it's awesome that if you're like an abuse company, you should want to bash somebody's brains in with a baseball bat. I mean, makes sense. But I think it's great. I mean, it doesn't affect me. Like in my life, it doesn't affect me. And I think that if 25,000 people feel the need to email me their opinion, and when I say email, I don't mean like this. I'm talking like an email. A kid wrote me, right? This kid wrote me.
How old was the kid?
He was 17, and he wrote me the most offensive. It was the most offensive one that I read. And I found him on Facebook. I found him where he lived. I found the name in the phone directory online. Yeah. Called the house. Didn't know how old he was or anything, but I called the house. This woman answers the phone. I said, "Is blah 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 there?"
Yeah.
And she said, "No, he's outside." I said, "Oh, are you familiar with the show Glee?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, blah blah blah. Your son just wrote me this email. I'd like to read it to you."
So you read the
and
mother
I go,
email?
"Dear blah blah blah, fuck you, you da 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 da," like full on offensive. She literally, I could hear her screaming in the background as she chased him down.
So the mother was deeply upset.
She was pissed.
What do you do to redeem yourself from these comments, or do you just think, I don't care?
Well, what's funny is for that, we donated the proceeds of 3 photos to a women's rights organization for anti-abuse. Which I think was good, but I don't do that because those people are upset. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, people can be upset all they want. It doesn't, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't affect me. Like the thing with the meat. All these people got mad at me because I shot a girl eating a steak. It's like, how many people eat steak
every day? Yeah. How do you go about, because you have a lot of famous celebrity friends that are in there, how do you go about choosing each actress or model for a shoot? Like, what do they need to have? Because in the Daily Mail there was a Tamara Ecclestone, and she was like sitting on the floor at McDonalds or on the tube station. Like, why did you choose her? So
I shot Tamara the last time I was here. And, I emailed her a couple of days ago. I said, I'm coming to London. I'd like to shoot. And I got to her house. And when I got to the house, I was like, so, I'd like to take you down to the tube. And she's like, I can't go on the tube. And I was like, why can't you go on the tube? Turns out she's claustrophobic. So she's like actually claustrophobic of being on the tube. So I was like, all right, let's just go to McDonald's. And she was like, yes. But then we went to a McDonald's in Chelsea that was like a really, really nice McDonald's. Yeah. So I was like, no, we need to trash this up a bit. And then she was really holding the sign, and people were walking by, and people were like freaking out. Did she stay eating on the floor after you finished? Was she like, oh, I'm done with this? No, she was not a diva about it at all. She was on the floor, like, literally eating burger, drinking. She was really drinking the milkshake. Chilling in the Vuittons. She's amazing. And then whatever that crazy dress she had on. Her dress, I think it was? Yeah. So, and it's funny because she bought that dress that day, and then I was like, get in that oil stain. And she's like, okay. But she could do that, though, can't she? Yeah. Who's been your favourite person to shoot? Ooh, that's tough. I mean, I think if you look in this place, probably Francesca is the person that I shoot the most, who's my girlfriend. We shoot all the time. Does she let you do crazy stuff? What's the craziest shoot you've done with her? We stormed the Buckingham Palace gates, which we almost got arrested for. But you don't care? I don't care. No. I had a guy chasing her who was set on fire the other day. I set her on fire. Has anyone ever been hurt? Like, you're setting people on fire. You shot someone. Like, has anyone ever been A&E? No. Had to be rushed to hospital? I broke a guy named Thomas Decker's nose. Did you punch him in the face? No, I hit him in the face with a police baton. But it wasn't my fault because I was hitting him with the baton in the stomach, and then he fell down. And he put his nose in the way of my baton hitting. But when I broke his nose, I did put it back in place. Tyler Shields, thank you for talking to Dropout UK. Thank you so much.